Hey, how are you?
Oh shit! There you go. Hello, how are you doing, man?
Doing fine, yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So so tell me a bit about yourself. What role are you trying to work on, or if it's any specific heroes or?
Yeah, I've been playing Reinhardt, and so I just started with Overwatch, excuse me. And for background, I've never played an FPS before. I was the first game I played seriously was World of Tanks. I don't know if you know that game.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and I was I was like diamond level, like to use Overwatch metrics. I was like a diamond level player. I was really good, and then I moved from that to League, and I'm still playing League. I'm like bouncing around plat basically in League. And in League, and this is what's important, is I'm a jungler, and I'm a jungler because my micro is just total horseshit. Like, I don't aim well. My reactions are a little slower, I think, than the average person, but I'm really good at macro. Like, I own the objectives. I pull the team to do the right things, and kind of lead the way. So, what I'm good at is knowing the right thing to do. I'm very courageous in. Do you know League very well or no?
I know Dota. I know Dota, not League.
Okay, great. So, my KDAs are not great in League, but my win percentage is high, and it's because I have good judgment around, like, this is when a fight needs to be initiated, and especially in randoms, like, teams have no clue, and
Yeah.
like if I do that initiation, I'm gonna die, but they're gonna win a big fight as a result, and we're gonna do better, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like that's like, I think that's where I'm good in the game, is I have sort of the courage to like say, this is the moment, we've got to fucking do it,
So
and pushing the button. Yeah.
interesting. So you're trying to figure out. You're trying to ask me what role you should play based off of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fooling around with Reinhardt for, I don't know, the last 20-30 matches, and he feels really good in that way. Whereas, I mean, I was hopeless with like damage characters.
Yeah.
And I could do Mercy okay, because she was just push button. Like, I just had to be smart about where I sat. But I struggled with like Brigitte. She was with Reinhardt, like his E. I use his E a lot, and I'm really, or not his E, his left shift rather.
Yeah.
I'm really comfortable with it. It's such a great engage, and I'm always blowing up the enemy and starting cool stuff, and I can't do that with Brigitte in the same way. So
Yeah.
maybe he's not the best champ, but like, having played, I don't know, 8 to 10 champs, he felt the best for my style.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. So okay, yeah, so one great thing about Overwatch is reaction time. I mean, obviously it's important, but it's not like the main thing. It's more so decision making. So like you said, macro decisions. That's usually what determines a lot. So to me, I mean, what I sounds like to me that you should be either, depending if you want to go on a more aggressive side, more like damage side. You take away you take away aggression for damage, so that would be off tank. And then for terms of just like having control of the pace of the fight and having initiation, which it sounds like you're really interested in, is I would say main tank, and more specifically, dive main tank.
That sounds about right. I mean, that's definitely consistent with how I play League. It's just super ham, super aggro. If I make errors, it's not that I was too careful, it's that I was too impetuous.
Yeah. The only thing is, and this is not just coming from, this is not just for you, it's just like in general, a lot of people have the playstyle in Overwatch where they translate other games into Overwatch. Like for example, a lot of COD players, like they'll just go in ham, you know what I mean? Like they'll just go ham, and like you said, even if it costs my life, as long as we cleared objective, you know what I mean? You're out. The thing in Overwatch is you have to. It's not about how many kills you can rack up. It's about how long you can survive. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. And I'm speaking purely on like a high, like once you reach like, this is like once you, even for like diamond, like but this applies to every rank, but it applies even more once you're like master, grandmasters, top 500. But it's still applied. Like it's something you want to keep in mind. So because you don't, one thing going from like, because I used to play like Super Smash Melee. That's the game I came before this, and I feel like in any esport in general, like it's really hard to break old habits, and it's good to like have an understanding what the habits you should you should try to break early on, so you don't like when you're like for example, whenever you, let's say whenever you improve and you get to like a high rank, you don't want to have these habits that are lingering over you that you can't break. You know what I mean? So I would say in Overwatch, like so to me it sounds like main tank. Reinhardt is definitely fun. I would suggest like Winston's pretty good. I think Winston's pretty good. They just all, I mean, I could, if you want, I can explain to you how each of them play and stuff, so I can, you can tell me what if that's interesting to you.
Sure, and to the degree that this is a factor, I duo with my buddy most of the time. He's just getting started as well. We used to play tanks together. He doesn't play League, and he plays only Bastion, and so we like creatively use the shield and his, his turret to really get a lot of damage down.
Okay, so you both are just getting into the game like just now, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we just started playing like a week ago or so. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So and your partner. Okay. So let's. All right. Okay. So let me give you a breakdown of each one. So Reinhardt, I think currently is very, very relevant. He's. I don't know if you know. Do you know about the meta in Overwatch right now? Do you know anything about that?
Just a little. I've seen some videos, but I definitely am not up fully on the meta.
Yeah. So currently, Overwatch is currently going through a stage of where it's called a GOATs. You're gonna see this. You're gonna hear this name a lot when you play. GOATs, what essentially is normally, like as Overwatch been going on for a while, it normally has been 2 tanks, 2 supports, 2 DPS, all that jazz. But as of recently, it's been GOATs, and what GOATs is 3 tanks, 3 supports, and the specific tanks is Reinhardt. It's you need a Reinhardt, you need a Zarya, you need a D.Va. Those are your tanks, and then you need a Lucio for sure. And then from there you can flex, because sometimes people like Lucio Zen Brigitte, some of them like Lucio Ana Brigitte, some of them are actually running Lucio Zen Ana. So it kind of depends, but the main core is definitely the Lucio, the Ryan, the Zarya, and the D.Va, and then the other 2 kind of can vary. So yeah, Ryan is definitely prevalent right now, and probably will for a while. His playstyle was more like you can't really use his charges. Like his charge is really nice, but it's not like an ability you want to use frequently. It's more so of a the best way I could describe it is like if you land it, it's something you don't want to put commitment into it, is what I'm trying to say. So for example, are you watching my stream right now?
No.
Yeah. All right,
Send me a link.
Yeah, I got you. I'll send you a link to it. Actually, here, so it's not delayed. Let's just screen share it. One second. What the fuck? What's going on? My screen's being weird. Google Chrome is not responding. Okay.
Oh no.
All right. Yeah, one second. I'm gonna call you right back. Fuck! It just closed on me. All right. You can hear me again, right?
Yeah, I can. Yep.
Perfect. Let's add some. All right. Okay, so you can see my screen now, right?
Yep, I got it. Yep.
Okay, so let me give you so you can actually see this in an actual map. Let's do a very perfect King's Row. This is a very prevalent map for Reinhardt.
And I'm sure that I'm overusing his. I mean, his left shift is like my most commonly used ability. I mean, I'm just constantly popping it.
Yeah, it's fine. Like when I first got into Overwatch, that was definitely the thing. When I got into Reinhardt specifically, that was definitely something I did a lot. It's something you want to cut off, and like some players don't use it at all, and some players use it too much. You don't want to be in neither of those two. You kind of want to find a balance, and there's like safe ways, and there's not safe ways to do it. Like for example, a very common place that, you know, first point, King's Row, right over here, right? So starting off, like for example, usually teams like to hold here. When I say teams, I mean like once you reach around like diamond, around that level, that's where teams like to hold. Generally, what you want to do is you don't want to do this type of pin. You want to push in, right? Like the enemy Ryan's pushing up, and then you just nodge in there. What you want to do instead is let them walk up a little bit, and then just go for a side pin. Because those pins are like you get the same value with like minimum risk. Because this you're exposed the whole time, plus you're stunned there for a little bit before you can do anything. Here, you're still within your teammate's side. You just want to use it to go for short pins. Is what I'm trying to say.
I see.
Short pins is like where you get the best value, where it's low risk but you get around the same reward.
That's the total opposite of what I do. I'm glad to know that that's wrong.
Yeah, because the thing about Overwatch is it's weird because a lot of people don't have good focus, so it's really easy to like whenever you're playing like in lower ranks or like quick play, it's really easy to like feel comfortable just doing things like this, like just going in like this. But as you build up, people have better and better focuses, and like just to give you an idea like how much damage like it's. So this comp like we're talking about is Zarya, D.Va, fucking let's just say the common one is Lucius and Brigida with a Zarya, D.Va, Ryan. And like just to give you perspective, Zenyatta with the Discord does around like a little over 100 DPS a second. D.Va does around 100 DPS a second. And with Discord, she's probably do 130 DPS a second. Then Zarya does around, depending on her charge, 150 DPS a second. So that's already like 350 DPS just from those three, and not even including the rest of the characters. So you can see how you with only 500 HP doesn't seem like that much, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the thing is, main tanking, you are more tanking than other heroes, but you're not like don't feel comfortable. It's something you need to learn is like to respect the opponent's focus fire. But
I've definitely learned like if I left shift at a bastion who's far away, I'm gonna be dead before I reach him.
Yep. Yeah, and then like for example, it's just like in Overwatch there's so much damage that can be dished out. So even you being a main tank, it's not like in other games where you can just fucking tank so much damage. It's like it's kind of an interesting role. But where it does prevail at, it's really good at like you're really good at initiating fights, and you have really good control of the pace because you are the front line, so you can control the pace of your team. That's where shot calling. Are you comfortable with shot calling at all?
Yeah, I'm always the shot caller on my competitive teams in other games.
Oh, nice. So yeah, for sure. Like especially in Overwatch, the main tank is generally the person you want that shot calls. So that's it. That's really good actually. Then I feel like main tank would be the role. Reinhardt's playstyle is more like he can be rapid, but he's more methodical. So for example, you don't want to be the Reinhardt that just goes in swinging, but at the same time you don't want to be the Reinhardt that just walks in like this, right? So there's a couple of things you can mix up. Like for example, if you're gonna approach a destination, like you're like I said, this is 2,000 HP and it seems like a lot, but trust me, this will go away really quick. So you don't want to.
It does, yeah.
You don't want to do this. You don't want to do things like this, right? So what you want to do instead is you want to kind of find a medium between. So you want to go like this. So you jump and hop, and so you have the same movement as walking, but you keep your shield up for the most part up, and it allows you to play more rapid.
But it looked like you were toggling the shield down there too, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. I was jumping and.
So you're gonna lose some HP in the process, but that's okay.
That's okay because you have healers.
Okay.
That's why healing is so good in this game, because you can take some damage so that your shield. That more importantly is your shield that doesn't take damage, because it's gonna be really important. You want to win the shield war. As Reinhardt, you always want to find moments to recharge. That's why playing by cover. Oh, that's another thing. Just no matter, especially for main tank, or actually no matter what role, having covers all the time, even as a Reinhardt, even though you have a 2,000 HP shield, you're gonna get down. Like if your shield gets low and you realize the opponent Ryan has way more shield than you, then you're gonna have to recognize that and give them ground so your shield can charge. And then once your shield is up, then you can re-engage.
Okay.
Winston. So that's how Reinhardt is. He's kind of like a one-time, like either this is gonna go my way or we're gonna completely lose. Like, he only has one chance. Reinhardt has only one chance. Winston.
What do you mean by only has one chance? What does that mean?
What I mean by that is you don't really have much options to disengage. So
okay.
Once
you go in and you're in.
Yeah, once you're in a fight. So that's the thing. Reinhardt, the cool thing about him is, yeah, he only has one shot, but he doesn't have to be immediate. Right? For example, if I'm playing Reinhardt and I'm attacking opponents, I don't just have to fucking just go in and pray for this. I can wait it out, let my DPS do damage, and if I see an opportunity, then I can go in, and then that's when I commit. But once you commit, it's over. Like it's really hard to back up. That's the downside of Reinhardt. He has like good movement, a decent movement, you know, standard movement, but and a mobile shield. That's pretty much it. So
it sounds like there's a patience element where I want my team to poke, and then once I see they've poked them down, that's when I go in.
Essentially, and sometimes in comp, I'm just gonna tell you this right now. Comp is really frustrating. You really have to love this game, and I do. But like, your teammates, like again, like as nice as this all sounds, you are reliant somewhat on your teammates. Reinhardt can do his own things. What you have to do in comp specifically as a main tank, you kind of have to outplay the enemy teams. And like what I mean by that, for example, let's just say this is a comp thing. Like you don't, like if you're in a professional environment, like you don't normally do this, but like this is a comp thing. Like even in like high top 500 players do this. So let's just say I cap the team, right? We just wiped them. We're barely capturing the point, right? I'll move up from my team, completely move up here, because right now the opponents, they're respawning, right?
Yeah.
So they're respawning here, and I'm already thinking in my head, I already know where the next fight's gonna happen. The opponents are gonna group up. We're gonna cap point. The fight's gonna happen around this area, right? So what you can do is you can read that moment, understand it, and tell your team wants to cap it to push up, and go for a sneaky shatter. So those are kind of things that's what makes Reinhardt kind of fun at playing comp, because you kind of have to go for plays like that, or otherwise if you just play with your team, you're completely dependent on what your team does, and not of your own individual skill. If that makes sense.
I see. Yeah.
That's why I personally don't like Reinhardt as much. But in a very professional environment or like a scrim environment, Reinhardt does have a lot of control. But that's assuming that your teammates are gonna follow up with you. You know what I mean? Like in comp, you can't really rely on that. That's why he can be troublesome.
I see.
Another hero, which is like this kind of the same thing as Reinhardt. She does like she's supposed to be a replacement, and she kind of is. She's just different. Like for example, in professional play, you'll see Arisa on this map a lot. And when I say I mean like really high level play. So what they'll do is, instead of like having your Reinhardt just sit around here, and you know, when high level play, when you're playing Reinhardt on this map, you kind of have to do these type of rotations. You have to use speed boost to go through to catch him, and do these like your whole team has to rotate here, and you have to do all this really complicated stuff. And normally what teams like to do instead is just have an Arisa sit up there, and you still have to do complicated things, but it makes it a lot less stress on you. And what ends up happening is you have your Arisa up here, and you have your DPS up here, and then you have other DPS across the window. So what you want is essentially them to go to point, and then surround them and kill them and mow them down by the time they get on point. So Arisa's gameplay style is like, you don't want to be, Reinhardt wants to be up in your face, Arisa wants to back up. So like if I'm playing Arisa and I see the opponents are walking up right here, right, I'll back up and I'll give them the room and reset here, because you always want to be at distance with Arisa. That's basically her playstyle. You always want to be at a distance. And what she has to assist with her is she has literal CC. Like you can pull people, and I can't really show you here, but the radius is like, so let's just say that door, it's about here. So you can pull somebody and they'll be sucked into there, as many people as you want. And that's where
oh wow.
Yeah, it's a really good ability. It's a really good ability.
Yeah. Which is that, her alt or?
No, that's just a 8-second cooldown.
Is it the E? Or?
It's a right click.
Huh.
It's a really interesting ability, because like there's an ultimate that's it's a really good ultimate called Zarya, and her ultimate is Graviton Surge, and her ultimate is basically that, but for 4 seconds. Arisa, how it works, it pulls you in, whatever time it takes you to get there, regardless, you get there. So let's just say it takes like half a second. Then on top of that, once it does end, you'll be on a second of slowdown. So you'll be walking you'll walk like very, very slowly for like a second. So what a really nice thing I like to do is whenever I see an opponent, a lot of people like to pull them up and then shoot them and track them. What I like to do to make it really simple and really reliable is I'll pull down, I'll put my crosshair at their face, and as they're getting pulled toward, I'll just show you here. I'm just like overcomplicating this. I'll just show you. But Arisa is definitely, she is a good hero. I do like her. I prefer her over Reiner in comp sometimes because I just have more control. Because she actually has good damage.
Is her gun an AoE gun, or does it have to be hit precisely?
It's not an AoE gun. It does about 12 a shot. Comparatively, Soldier does 19 a shot, and it's a projectile. It's a you do pretty good damage. Like watch this. So let's just say, and I know this is a bot, but the thing is, whenever you pull anybody, they're gonna be locked in the same move. So regardless if it's a bot, it's gonna be the same difficulty. So watch this. Just like that. And you can do that to like any 200 HP hero. Like, let's just say you're playing, let's say you're defending point, right? And then you notice that, let's just say I don't know, I'm just right here. This guy's trying to run away. I pull him back, and I punish him. So you can do things like that. So that's where Arisa is really good, is when you recognize those moments where people are slightly out of position, and then you can fully capitalize. Like when normally they would take maybe like just a little bit of damage, you can completely punish and kill them just because of them being slightly out of position. She also has another really, really good ability, which is her Holtz. Her Holt is basic Fortify. Sorry. Hey, what's up, bro? Nice to see you. Fortify, what it does is essentially it's you take half damage, and you're resistant to any form of crowd control. And what I mean by that is, for example, you know how Reinhardt charging you normally sends you flying across? You're resistant to that. Let's just say someone's trying to push you. You're resistant to that. If you're in a Graviton, which is an ultimate, you can run away. Like, you're resistant to any form of CC. So you just, like, nothing can stop you from moving. On top of that, you take half damage, which effectively doubles your HP. Because it essentially doubles your HP. So basically, think of you from going from 400 to 800 HP when you use Fortify. That's what that does.
Which ability is it of hers?
Her shift. It's this one. And lasts for, I think, like 5 seconds. It lasts for 5 seconds. I think it goes on a 10-second cooldown, something like that. And then another really good ability is her shield. This is another one. So instead of being 2,000, it's 900. And it's on an 8-second cooldown. And things you can do to incorporate that is, because the cooldown starts as soon as you shoot it, right? So what you can do is to save time is to throw up in air. It takes about 5 seconds. So you can, whenever this lands, you'll have 3 seconds left on your next shield. So you can put 8. So like what thing you can do is you have one shield up, right? You throw it up before they come. They'll break this shield. A new shield will come up. So that's 1,800 HP worth of shield. And then you have another shield in your disposal, and now that's 2,700 worth of shield. All because you had good shield management.
And what's her ult?
And her ult is, people underestimate, but it's basically it's an AoE ability. So let me show how far it goes. Anyone that can within line of sight of this gets a 50% damage increase. So it's pretty far. It's really far, as you can tell.
So anybody within range of it gets a damage increase, is that right?
Yeah, by 50%, which is huge. Like, give me an idea. Nano Boost is an ultimate, and it gives you 50% reduction, and it gives you 50% damage increase. So essentially, and that's an ultimate itself, you get 50% damage increase to everybody, and on top of that, you can effectively be nano boosted because you have the 50% and the 50% from your Fortify. So you're using 2 ults at the same time. It's a really good ultimate if you use it right.
How much is Mercy boosting people when she does
30
right click?
30%.
Okay, 30%.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's kind of Arisa. Like, she has really, what I personally like her is the fact that you can do a lot of damage. You can tank quite a bit, and she's just a really interesting hero overall. Though the hero.
Yeah, I mean, she has a lot of cool abilities, but I probably won't put her damage to good use. My micro is is really bad, and I'm not. I wouldn't do the work necessary to get it to be good.
Interesting. Well, I see. I respect that. Let's see if I can move to a different map. So you can run this character on this map. And I used to specialize on him, but I don't anymore. I still play him a lot, but Winston is a really good character and no aim or guard at all.
Who do you focus on now? Who's your main?
I focus on Hammond. Which is this character right here. He's recently added. He's quite interesting.
Oh, Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, Wrecking Ball. He's a really interesting hero. He's in my opinion, just like he's definitely different from Winston, but he can do the same role, but it's just really hard for him. I mean, like, it's not really hard, sorry, it's mechanically demanding, if that makes sense. So he's just very mechanically demanding. But Winston, still a good hero, really good hero. Essentially what he is what people play him wrong is they'll be like, oh, look at this, I can just jump super fucking far, and that means I can just go into wherever I want. And so normally teams will hold right up there, so the whole enemy team, and then they'll just fucking jump in, hope for the best, put their bubble down, and then they'll just go in. So that there's so many things wrong in that. Like Winston, like I said, in Overwatch, it's not about what you. It's like what determines a good player. It's not about what the like. It's not how much you can do with your kit. It's how much you know what to do with it. So like theoretically I could just jump into opponents whenever I want, but if in practice you'll die every time. So what you need to do is you need to find alternate ways of pressuring opponents. So for example, like instead of like if they're set up here, right, instead of just fully jumping in like this and putting your bubble down and just hoping for the best, what you want to do instead is you can do something called a pressure jump. And what a pressure jump is when you do a very low commitment jump. So you can just jump over here, use cover, and if they pressure you can just easily back up whenever you want. So that's a pressure. That's a low commitment jump. Other things you can do is, for example, if the opponents are right over there, right, and I want to reach them, and I'm over here, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I really want to go there, but you know, I'm gonna jump in, and then you just get murdered. So instead, you're like, okay, you know what, I won't do that. What I'll do instead is I'll go on the high ground, drop on the opponents, and whenever I feel like I need to get out, I have a jump at my disposal. That's kind of what Winston does. That's pretty much Winston a lot. And then there's other moments you can recognize, like if you realize that they don't have much they have like maybe an Ana right up here, but they don't have many people to reach you if you're to jump up here. Like they don't have a diva, they don't have mobile heroes or anyone that can really deal with you. You can recognize that as a Winston, and then you can fully commit to that, and then you can jump here, remove her from killer or remove her from high ground, and then once you're here, you can just easily move. Once your cooldown's back, you can go back to opponents, and then you can jump out whenever you want. And that's kind of Winston. He's very methodical. So he's really good at initiating, but but he doesn't have as much sustainability as like obviously like a Reinhardt.
And unless it's really a key play that seems unambiguously safe, I should not all in with the jump. The jump is for disengage or for something safer.
Essentially. You can. There are situations where you can fully commit, but those you need team play, and on top of that, it's just dependent on situation. Like for example, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. How do I explain this? It just matters where if you're trading your ability for positioning, so you can go really aggressive. Like for example, me jumping up here is really aggressive because I'm far away from my team, but since I have so much cover to work with, I'm trading an ability for cover so it's safe, and then from there from here you can move on. So now you are still in an aggressive position, you have your cooldown, and then you can move on from here to zap the opponents and pressure them. But there are moments where you can fully commit. It's just dependent on how much HP they have. Like if you see like somebody's low and like you can see that they're trying to retreat, and you're in the middle of a fight and they're trying to retreat, and you coordinate that with your team, or you have your ultimate as Winston, then you don't need to give a fuck about your team. If you have your ultimate as Winston and you see that people are low and they're trying to run away, you can just catch them, and if you get low, you can chase them. And he fully, so the thing with Winston's ult, he fully regenerates his health, and he gains 1,000 HP.
What button were you using to do the melee attack?
Just left click.
Okay.
Just left click.
Same as Reinhardt.
Same as Reinhardt. And the thing, another thing you want to learn as Winston is you don't want to use his bubble. Like, it's a shield ability, but you're not going to use it as a shield in the sense where you're trying to protect your team. You're going to use it strictly selfishly, because it's only 600 HP. Like, this is like Reinhardt shows 2,000 and it feels like it goes away in an instant. You can only imagine what this bubble will feel like if you try to soak up damage. You know what I mean? So you're essentially using it to double your to more than double your HP. So, like, for example, if you are going here and it's just you, right? So it's just you over here, and your team is still there pressuring, so they can't fully ignore them. But at the same time, you're up here and you're with a bubble, so you have double protect. So you have protection, and at the same time, there's people pressuring from behind. So if you were here and you try to bubble here, then they can just delete it in a second because everyone's already at this general direction. So it's very easy to deal with it. But if you're over here and you put the bubble here, or like, you know, if you're over, so not over here, but like in this side, then all of a sudden they can't put that many resources behind because there's opponents in front of them. Does that, like, is what I'm saying making sense? Yeah,
it does, yeah.
So you want to use it strictly selfishly for yourself. You can use it defensively, like if you notice that somebody's getting dove, like there's my Zenyatta's right there. I notice that there's a Genji diving him. I can put a bubble down. Oh, that's another thing. Bubble doesn't end where the ability ends. So like if I press E, it'll start midair. So that's something you have to keep in mind. So whenever you're jumping, make sure to, like, you press E where you're trying to. But anyways, so you press E,
sure,
and then you can help your teammate whenever. That's the only situation I can see used defensively. Other than you can also prevent diva bombs. Oh my god, actually, you can prevent Lucio ultimates, but that's really complicated stuff. That's like getting to really technical.
With Reinhardt, I don't feel like my shield helps me from the diva bomb. It feels like she comes and we all still die anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of, people will get better. Most people don't die from diva bombs unless it's really, really well placed. Because it's just it's 3 seconds, and it's a big crosshair, and it's really easy to avoid it. So for the most part, right now, just worry about yourself. Like,
in unranked low elo, a lot of people die from diva bombs. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah, not many people die unless it's really well placed. Like, unless it's like, there's some pretty cheeky spots. There's some pretty cheeky things. Like, for example, one thing that it's not as prevalent, but like it's still, some people fall for it, where you put the diva bomb like this, right? And they'll see it like, oh, that's safe, I'll just walk underneath, and then you make it drop and it kills everybody. That's a cool thing, because normally as an opponent you'll see the diva bomb like, oh, it's up there, I'll just walk down here and I'm safe. And then all of a sudden the diva pushes it down, and then you're like, oh fuck. So and then there's some other things you can do where, like, here, I'll show you. I'll show you a really nice diva bomb on Hollywood.
And how can I learn the maps? Are there any, like, tutorial videos that teach you the maps?
Not good ones. No. You kind of need. I mean, yeah, there are videos on learn the maps, and I'm actually trying to do that myself. But I'm really trying to get into making videos. It's just really hard. But there are people who gone it. It's just not the best. They kind of, like, I would say watch them, but take what they say with a grain of salt is the best thing I would say. You know what I mean? Like, learn from the map, but don't take what their strategy is seriously, if that makes sense.
Sure, it's just tough. I mean, there's so many maps, and I mean, I still get lost coming out of spawn. Like, it's just tricky.
Yeah, it's something you're gonna have to learn. Like, I know every map like the back of my hand. It's just I put a lot of time into this game, and that's pretty much it. You just have to put time, and you'll learn over time. Like, there is no like you can watch videos and they'll help you and stuff. But in terms of understanding what to do, and these are some things you just have to determine. You just have to figure out, like for example, like I can tell you right now, there's a mini right over there. There's a mecha right down there. There's a mini in that room. I know there's a mega right over there. There's a mega behind that wall. There's a.
What are megas? What are we talking about?
Megas are these. Like, remember the mega I told you? These give you 250 HP, which are really important actually, especially for mobile heroes, because they have access to it a lot more frequently. Like, for example, if I'm in a pinch and I'm playing diva, I can just quickly, no one can heal me, I can get the mega. I can go from 300 which is half HP, to basically 550, which is basically full HP, and I'm back into the fight.
Yeah.
So it's really prevalent for mobile heroes, or like let's just say you're playing Tracer and she only has 150. These are really helpful because this gives you half HP. So if you're like a half HP, you can just do a quick little blink, boom, you're back to half full HP, and then that's why the megas and minis can be prevalent. But let me show you this D.Va. So this one is really cool. Let's see if I can do it. So I actually found this one myself. So what that does is when the opponents see it, what they'll do is they'll see the D.Va bomb being flowed towards them, and they'll be like, oh shit, let me drop down. And then the D.Va bomb explodes right here. So that's how you mind game opponents, right? That's how you catch them. Like these are the type of D.Va bombs that usually fall, like even high level players will fall for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of main tank, I mean, there's Hammond. And okay, so when you say mechanical, like mechanical in Overwatch is not that crazy. Like mechanics are very, it shouldn't be a limiting factor, as I'm trying to say for you. What's your DPI? What's your sensitivity? Like, what's your in-game sensitivity and all that stuff?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know those numbers.
Okay. Well, I would say once you figure it out, are you okay? Let me ask you this: do you move your arm a lot when you aim, or do you move your wrist?
I would guess it's my wrist, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I just do it, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I would say figure out your DPI. Figure out, because that's really important to know. I would say, and it's going to be uncomfortable at first, but I would say move your DPI down to 800. And if it's already 800, then you're chilling. So once your DPI is at 800, I would start off with like 5 sensitivity, and that's gonna, if you're probably a wrist aimer, because that's usually what people who struggle with aiming, they're a wrist aimer. Like, let me change my sense to match it. Like, let's just say, because currently I'm at 900 DPI 3.12, which is very, very low. Not very, very low, but it's low. Like, for example, me doing this, I'm moving my hand across. Like, I'm at the middle of my mouse pad. It's about, I would say, 16 inches, something like that. And I'm moving in the middle right now, so that's about 7 inches of room. So I'm going to move, and I'm done.
My DPI is 1800, by the way.
18, yeah. So turn that down to 800 and play with 5 sensitivity in game. That sensitivity is considered still, it's like medium. It's not too high. Most professional players wouldn't consider that high, but it's definitely not low at the same time. It's
is the sensitivity the acceleration? Is that right?
Sensitivity, yeah, it's how fast you move your mouse. Like DPI is what your mouse sensitivity is, and then the sensitivity is the in-game sense is what your in-game sense is. So if you have like 1600 DPI and you're playing at 5 cents, and I'm playing at 800 DPI and I'm playing 5 cents, you're basically playing at double the speed I am. So that's why understanding the DPI is very important. So, but yeah, like pretty much that's gonna help you a lot. It's gonna get some used to, but it's gonna improve your aim a lot. Cause I mean, I came from like I said, I came from console gaming. Like I guess you can call it console. Like I played Smash Brothers, and I was not used to mouse and keyboard, and it was really hard for me. Like I was really struggling. Like I was like jittering around. But like having it just be your hand feels very natural, and it allows you to fine tune it a lot better. It's just good overall. Being a wrist aimer is just not healthy. On top of that, it's just impractical. That's why arm aiming is just better, and playing at low sense is just better. And you'll see that your mechanical skills will improve if you put time into it. But yeah, I mean, as for the heroes in general, like what I mean, I can go over more heroes, but I basically went over Arisa, Ryan, and Winston. Does any of those sound interesting, or would you?
Yeah, I mean, in the short term, I'll stick with Reinhardt. I'll probably, once I'm more comfortable with him, I'll probably try Winston next. But yeah, I think I've heard enough about different heroes for now.
Okay. And yeah, and is there what do you call it? Do you have a VOD review? Do you have a VOD by any chance I can go over with you?
No, I don't.
Hmm?
I mean, I could play a game while we're online.
Okay. Oh, that's. It would be. Let's see. How much time do you have? Like, could you stick around for a while? For like a little
Yeah,
bit?
I'm okay. Yeah,
Good.
sure.
Let's see. I have my coach in another. Okay. Well, before I even say that, do you have any questions? Do you have any like any other things you want me to like help you answer or like?
No, I mean I'm just looking for a steroid boost, basically. You know, being new to the game to get more competent more quickly.
No comment quickly. Okay. Let me just let's go ahead and I'll just spectate you and I'll like I guess this is we can do this. We can do live coaching. So I will just like go over your gameplay and I'll just basically be that annoying guy over your head telling you what to do.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Essentially. But yeah, let me see. So just how would we do this? I can't just become a spectator. I would have to join you in a game.
Couldn't I screen share through the call?
Yes, you could. You have a nice computer, right? So it's not like it wouldn't be jittery.
No, we definitely won't be jittery. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then yeah, let me end my screen share. Let me stop screen sharing. All right, and then I'll watch you.
See, I guess I'm in a group and I don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not letting me pick a quick play. Is that? Are we in a group together?
Oh yeah. Here. Let me see. Season 14. You're sharing your screen right now with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, let me make you leader, and then I'll just leave this, so then I can just watch you.
Cool.
Other things to talk about. The other thing to talk about is ultimate usage. Ultimate usage is very, very, very important in this game. It's one of those things where certain ults can literally determine fights, no questions asked. It just depends on how you use it, but you don't want to. You want to get in the habit of. You don't want to like never use your ultimate, but at the same time you don't want to use it when not necessary. And a good way of determining that is keeping track of who's alive and who's not. So tab should be your best friend. Like you should be pressing tab all the time. Like I press tab like once every 5 seconds or as much as I can and look at the top right, because then you can see, like, for example, if you realize like, oh, like for example, the Genji just died and they just killed Bob. So basically right now you guys are up 1. So in a situation like this, when you're up around one person, you don't want to commit ultimates right. Okay, let me just. Okay,
Is this a real game? I thought it was, but it's...
Yeah, it's don't worry about it. It's just you're in a real game, but they put you in the end of it, so you're kind of in a bad spot. Yeah, it just don't worry.
I see.
You're gonna get into a new game, so don't worry about that. But like in terms of like knowing how much to commit and how many ultimates to use is like, if you're up 1 person and you have like a low commitment, like a not too low commitment ultimate, and that would be somebody like Brigida has a low, Junkrat, Tracer, McCree. These are all ultimates where they regenerate really quickly, so it doesn't really matter if you use it, right? But ultimates like Reinhardt Shatter, Graviton Surge, Arisa, all these ultimates, you want to use them more whenever you're in an even state. So if you're like up by like 2 people, then you don't want to use any ults at all. Or like, let's just say you're down by 1 person and you need to win this fight right now, then that's when you want to commit ultimates like Graviton Surge. You don't want to be using your ultimates when you're up like 3 people. That, like, I see that a lot, and that's something you're gonna have to work on. You'll probably do as a new player, is you notice that like you're up 3 people and then you just press Q for the sake of it. That's definitely a habit you want to work on as soon as you can, because ultimate storage, like being able to use your ultimates only when you need it, is like a really good habit to have, as I'm trying to say. And then from there is another form of resource management is your abilities. That's something that's going to become more and more prevalent as you play this game. You'll notice that if you only had those extra 2 seconds or extra 1 second or 3 seconds, you could have lived. So that's when ultimate ability management becomes important. Like when I was talking about Winston, where if you jump, you only have a 6-second cooldown, right? Which it doesn't sound like much, but when you're in the middle of the whole entire team, 6 seconds is a lot of being exposed. So that's why being able to that's like when I was talking about like going up to high grounds and waiting for your cooldown. That's like a form of ability management. So that's something you definitely think about. Like, try not to use your abilities unless you have to. Don't just like, whenever you're playing Winston, for example, and you see somebody right in front of you, and you can just walk up to them and it'll take you less than a second to reach them, right? Don't use your ability, right? I see so many players they're like playing a character. If only they just could have spent 1 second walking up to them, but they chose to use ability, and then they die because they're out of position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's something that's gonna become.
Yeah, it's similar to League.
Yeah, it's gonna become very like 12 seconds is a lot. Like Winston's bubble is like a really long charging ability.
Now you said for melee, I left click or right click?
For the ultimate you you left click. For melee or general, you have to you have to, I think it's like Z or something, but you want to make that to something else. I personally, melees can be so prevalent in Overwatch that you want to make it something that's super convenient. I make it my mouse 2 button. Oh, not my mouse 2, like one of my side buttons on my mouse. That's where I like other door. There you go. And okay. So yeah, just follow your teammates for now. And you, like you said, you're not very familiar with this map, right?
Not at all, yeah.
Not at all, yeah, thought so. It's okay, that's something that'll just take over time. So the point is that's your bottom left. What you want to do here is you want to push up. Make some room, keep pushing up. You're fine to drop. You're playing too passive. So you already have a barrier. So move to point. So like, remember what I was talking about where you don't want to just like hold your shield down, just walk forward? You want to incorporate like the jump technique.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, don't worry. So here you look at your top right. You're down 2 people, so you should be backing up. Wait for just back up from the fight completely. Go in that room. There's a mega behind you. There's a mega to your left.
Oops. Shoot.
It's fine. There's a mega behind you. Just keep walking back. There you go. Just keep run away. Just back up. Wait, regroup with your team. So go back left. Oh wait, no. Oh my god, dude. I need to teach you the map, bro. Oh my god, that's so important. Just this loser's trying to fight. I forgot this quickly. You're up 2 people. Just go to point. I'm so sorry, dude. It's so hard to like. It's so hard to live coach when. This is my first time live coach someone that's completely new at the game. All right. Oh no, you're dead, dude.
Oh no!
You're dead, dude. So,
there was a little wall there. I thought I would hit it.
No, it doesn't hit it.
No.
I would say the first thing you definitely want to do is definitely get familiar with the map. So try to make that try to be observant whenever you're playing. I think if me trying to go over I'm trying to go over your move and stuff, I would say just pay attention to the map around you. Like, take note. Like, oh, that's where that mini is. Oh, that's where that point is. All right, push up on this. Don't be too scared. You can push up on this. You're down 2 people right now. So right now you're not. So they're on point right now, and essentially you stayed. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Just play passive. Get that kill and play passive. Oh, okay. That's alright. So you want as a main tank, not so like Junkrat only has 200 speed. They don't have any form protection, and most of the heroes on your team don't have much form protection, and you do. So you want to be the person on the point for the most part. So whenever you see you hear that ticking sound, that means you're either a teammate or the enemy's on the point. So you as a main tank, you want to be there to basically stop them from doing that and distract enemy team so that your teammates can do the damage. So here, you want to incorporate swing as much as you can. Ooh, pin him. Oh, nice, dude.
I didn't have my E. My left shift was not up.
You're fine. Oh, your mercy's not even healing you. Holy shit. Yeah, you have to do that. It's alright. Don't take this everyone around you are new players, by the way. They always put you. Some of them are new, at least.
There's always some Smurfs you can tell by how they play.
Yeah, there's a lot of Smurfs in this game. As you could have seen there, I mean, you didn't even get the worst of it, but you saw how you kept not being able to use your shield and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a risk. That's the things I was talking about. Like, where being a main tank, yeah, you have a lot of HP, but there's so many things that can either stun you or they could just straight up overpower your shield. Like, for example, Sombra, she can straight up hack you. You can't use your shield, you can't fire strike, you can't pin. You're just a standing target.
Who does the hack?
Sombra, that's her name.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a...
Because a lot of times I'm hacked and I have no idea who did it, how they did it, you know, it just happened.
For the most part, she's been doing it by ulting you, and her ult is just like a AoE effect of 20 meters where she just hacks anyone within the line side. Like that's right now she just passed you. So here on this map, you don't want to walk where you are because you can. That Lucio, for example, is looking to push you into that hole. You go into that left room. Yeah, go into the left room. That way you can keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Don't be afraid to swing at them. They're only like when it's like 1 or 2 people. That's when being a main tank is super good. Okay, don't regress this. Don't regret this. The Symmetra can really burn you. So just back up. Just give her. She's giving you space. So you made space for your team. So you did your job. It's not your. So whenever you see catch a situation like that, you can confirm a kill if it's plausible, but don't go too far. Don't chase. You don't want to chase no matter what character you're playing. If they're giving you ground,
so even if I have a squishy isolated, I want to walk away. I don't want to.
Depending on how far they're dragging. Like if they're dragging you really far from the where you have to be, and what I mean by that, either the point or the cart or your team, then you don't want to do that because it's gonna take you a long time to get back. And if they're gonna be backing up that back, they're gonna be backing up into their team. So the longer you chase them, the more of a chance that the enemy team's gonna kill you. And here, for example, this would be the example that like you are very deep.
Yeah.
So
I kind of knew I was wrong even as I was doing it.
So right here, the enemy teams are not really being smart. Like Brigitte can go through your shield and Lucio can run past your shield. So both these characters should be able to kill you like a long time ago. But
yeah. Now, why wasn't my team supporting me there?
Because you went too deep. You're
so
already.
They just left me basically.
Essentially, because you're too far. Well, think of it this way: they're also new players, but even if they weren't, even if they were experienced, you're too deep. If they come into a resource, if like a smart player were to see that, they would leave you because they realize you're too much of a resource commitment, and they'll probably die with you. So it's better to just let you die. As you see.
How did she win that?
Because you didn't swing early enough, and if you don't, and on top of that, Brigitte is really sustaining. Like her thing is she has 250 HP. So you just gotta start swinging. You just gotta break that dismal swing. Yeah, just swing. She'll win the long term. You won't. That's the thing. You were waiting too long. So here you're 240 HP. You're low. There's a mega to your back. Go behind you. Go behind you. Left room. Yeah, pick that up. Perfect. So keep pushing up. So you don't have to keep shooting. Oh my god. You saw that, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay, that you don't want to do. So you see how you just pin into a blind corner? What if there's like 3 people there waiting for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I understand, yeah.
So you just are just like, oh, watch out. So Lucio's, what they like to do is they'll make them chase you. They'll make you chase them, and then they'll put you like against an environment and push you off the environment. So that's something. So be careful.
Where did he go? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's dead. So here you.
Whoops! Oh no.
Yeah. So
what did that to me?
So the Winston, remember that ultimate I was talking about? Oh, you skipped it. So what that does is he can't Tesla cannon anymore, but all he can do is melee, and he does 40 damage at melee instead of 30, but he can push you really far. So he has a lot of CC control. So the thing about that's really good about Winston is not only can he sustain a lot because his HP goes up to 1,000, but he can push people around anywhere he wants. So he can make a lot of space for teammates. And for example, there you didn't turn your shield in time. Those are There's a lot of little things in this game. That's something you need to, yeah, that's something you'll learn over time. There's a lot of little things that if you don't know like the little trick to them, they're gonna kill you. There's a lot, so it's hard to.
Yeah. It's like in League, like there's 140 characters, and you just have to grind away to learn them all, basically.
Essentially.
And until you do, things will kill you, and you don't know what happened.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, and also Winston does AoE damage, so you see he's zapping multiple people once. It's not just one person.
Yeah.
So even though he doesn't do as much damage as other people, he only does 60 damage a second, which is on the low side. It does AoE, so he can zone people really well by zapping multiple people.
I see.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, if I were to tell you the things that you should focus on the most right now, is definitely getting used to that sensitivity Sakia, so 800 DPI and 5 sensitivity. And then from there, I would say just experiment with every hero, kind of like play them around, like literally every hero, like just play them. You know, you don't have to put much time into them, but just get a little familiar with them. Once you get that, kind of like when you're playing, don't focus too much on what's going on in front of you. Kind of focus like, oh, what's the like this map, like let me look, this is where the point is, or this is where the health packs are, like you know what I mean, like try to pay attention to your surroundings, and from there once, so the main things you want to worry about, like I said, the sensitivity, your surroundings, and then also your positioning. So think to yourself, always never just whenever something, so let's just say you did a play and it just worked out, and don't ever think to yourself, oh, this worked out, so that means I must have done something right. For example, in this game, like I said, teamwork is very reliant. So a lot of times what will end up happening is a lot of people will get away with shit that they shouldn't get away with because they're not getting punished. So don't get in the habit of like, that's how you can get stuck at a certain elo. That's how a lot of people get stuck, is they're so fixed to their elo, and they know the habits of that elo, so they'll try to do things that would work in that elo. But when they try to go to rank up, those habits will get punished, and then they just don't understand that. So always critique yourself, as I'm trying to say. Don't ever be like, oh, this worked out, so I'm just going to do this every time and no matter what. Like, wow, like this worked out, but damn, if the opponent just would have called me out sooner, or if they just had better focus fire, or they could have killed me, so I shouldn't do that next time. It worked out for me this time, but I shouldn't do it next time. So just always think about that in your head, and and then from like, not a lot of people like to critique themselves, so just that alone will give you like an extreme advantage in terms of learning this game quickly. Because if you're constantly critiquing yourself, like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, then you're going to improve. Like, to me, to this day, like, even like let's just go on my stream right now. Like, I used to be like, this is considered like a terrible garbage rank. I used to be 1500. Like, this is like a horrible rank. I used to be lower, 1200. Like, that's like really low. And I just kept critiquing myself, and till this day, like even though I'm like 4200, this is decayed, that's why I'm low, but I'm usually around 4200, and even to this day, like I'm playing and I'm always critiquing myself, because you always do something wrong. Like, you know, there's so many minute situations where like it's just, you have to make these quick spontaneous decisions where normally it wouldn't come up, but in this moment it does, and it's just whether, you know what I mean. I'm kind of like ranting off a little bit, but
no, I understand. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, is there what do you call it? Is there any other things you want me to talk? You have any questions about, concerns?
No, I don't think so. Again, I'm trying to flatten the learning curve, so you know, I'm not hard stuck bronze for a while trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I hope I was able to help with that. I would say send me your VODs. Like, next time if you ever want to do coaching with me again, like, go ahead and send me like a recording of yourself playing, and I will break down everything for you. And because like that's like probably the best way you can improve, is watching yourself play, because it's one thing to be in the moment, and it's another thing being Captain Hindsight and watching yourself play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So you'd be like, oh wow, if only I recognized, like, you watch yourself play, like, and I watch myself play, and I'm like, wow, if I only paid attention a little more, I could have saw that X person was in this position, and since I didn't punish that, they were able to kill my whole team. Or yeah.
Right.
But yeah, anyways, dude, well, it was really, really nice meeting you, dude. I really wish you luck, and I hope I was able to interest you on main tank, because there's not a lot of us out there.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
All right, dude. All right, peace out.
Take